Good morning, good people, fellow humans, fellow colorful nuts. Today is, there we go. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Wow. I think there's 770 days on the Peloton. Peloton. Well, this is Department of Career Services. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. We are here to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. It's kind of like the most important thing there is where is this life leading? Where are we going? Where's we going? Today is Wednesday. That means it is our volunteers breakfast. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit special. Why is that droopy? Can't be doing things like that in the mirror. Okay, a little different, a little bit special, because there is a Chamber of Commerce event at 8:30 at a coffee house where the sheriff is talking about homelessness. So it'll be interesting to observe what they're doing, how they're to help. And of course, the interesting thing is we are commanded to help. Well, we're commanded to love one another as we love ourselves, or to love one another as Jesus loved us. So for people that are like, oh, they're homeless, we need to drive them out of town. Okay, cool. That's great, unless you want to claim that you're a Christian, because this is the heart of the matter. This is the heart of Christianity. This is Matthew 25, right around verses 35 to 40 something, where Jesus is saying, in the end, the goats are going to be on the left and the sheep are going to be on the right. And the sheep are going to get rewarded because they gave me something to eat when I was hungry, something to drink when I was thirsty. They clothed me when I was naked. They gave me a place to stay. They helped me when I was sick, and they visited me in prison. Those are the people who are saved. Oh, did I forget to mention the people who stayed home, just read their Bible every day, believing that the Holy Spirit was telling them what it meant? So I forgot that one. Oh, yeah, I forgot it because Jesus didn't say that. And there was no New Testament to read when Jesus was around, or for 40 years and more after his death. But he did say to do this. And to the other people, he said, you're going to the lake of fire because you didn't give me food when I was hungry. You didn't give me something to drink. You didn't give me clothes. You didn't give me shelter. You didn't help me when I was sick. You didn't visit me in prison. And the Bible thumpers, the ones who believed they were holy, the ones who were focused on their personal salvation, said, well, when didn't we do any of those things? And he said, when you didn't do it to the least of my brothers. Pretty clear. Now, if you believe Jesus is the Son of God, if you believe Jesus is the Messiah, if you believe Jesus is the Creator incarnate, God as man, if you believe that, then you should believe what he tells you to do. In fact, in John 3:16, whosoever believes in him shall have everlasting life. So if he says, this is my commandment, and you don't do it, what's going to happen? If he says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. If you don't, what's going to happen? If he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and you don't do what he tells you to do, what's going to happen? So I say, woe to you, Pharisees, woe to you, Sadducees. Okay, so the sheriff is going to be at this place talking about we need to stamp them out. Yeah, we feel sorry for them, but we need to stamp them out. And I get that in this community of Pahrump, people worked hard for their money and or they're on a thin budget. They don't have much to spare. They're like the widow with the two mites. They're in that position. And if our leaders are saying stamp out those who are most in need, it's easy to go along with the crowd. It's easy to go along with the crowd. But we learn from the kingdom of heaven, from King Baldwin, when you're standing there before Jesus, you don't get to say it was inconvenient. Other people told me to do this. I was just following orders, etc. So it's going to be a great day at 8 o'clock. And we shall see what we shall see. We'll see how it is. Yeah, Rizzarazum. We don't want homeless people here. They're bringing them up in buses from Vegas. False. No one has ever documented that. That's just an urban legend. Anyway, that is a subset. Why should you care? Because it could be a subset of your life, of the life of our students. We're only alive for 80 years. Eternity is a lot longer. If you compare a human life to from the beginning of the universe till now, that's like 100-year life is like the thickness of a hair on your head compared to a 7.84-mile walk. If you're going to walk 13.8 billion years and every step was 1,000,000 years, every step was 3 feet, and that was 1,000,000 years, it would take you 13,800 steps. 13,800 steps to get there. And you multiply that by 3 and divide by 5,280, and you end up with 7.84 miles. That's how long eternity is of today. Human life, 100 years, the width of a hair on your head compared to that. What's more important? What should you care more about? Eternity or Viva La Vida Loca? Okay, so anyway, that's it. That's the sermon for today. Our talk for today, our theme o mimo for today is addiction. TED Talk is Johann Hari talking about addiction, important subject. Advice from an 80-year-old, take charge of your attitude. Don't let someone else choose it for you. Yes, so the third leg of our table is the emotional leg. First leg, physical, mental. Third is emotional. Fourth, spiritual. First leg of the table, physical, focus on fitness and health. Fitness and health. I was in a nice, great 32-minute interview yesterday in Las Vegas for a podcast, Susie's Las Vegas. A lot of fun. We'll put a link to it in the worksheet. Good. And a number of people commented that, hey, man, you look pretty good for your age. You look pretty good for 45. Yeah, I said, a lot of mileage. No, I've got a lot of mileage. You look pretty good for your age. You look very good for your age. And it's like, yeah, because I got to take care of this body, because the body is the way that I can get my brain moving around the place. Fitness and health, what we ingest, health, and fitness, exercise. So I already did my 40-minute workout today. My really hard 40 minutes, man. Raw, hooray for me. Okay, so emotional. So the emotion, so mental, always be learning. Yesterday's talk was about AI in the courtroom, how it's going to help indigent defendants, people who need a public defender, how AI can help them tremendously to tilt the playing field a little bit more so they're not going to win, because they're not going to win, but they're going to get it adjudicated quicker and have the best possible result. And learn a lot as the lesson is by a consequence, perhaps change the behavior. And so mental always be learning, AI, game changer, nothing is going to have as big an impact as this. And then the emotional side, what we say is if you can't control your emotions, don't worry, somebody else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. Advice from an 8-year-old, take charge of your attitude. Don't let someone else choose it for you. Right, same type of thing. Seth Godin, the red zone, wasted. Sports cars have a tachometer, a gauge showing how close the motor is to melting down. So I think I have 2 left contacts in, or they're reversed or something. Very hard to read this morning. When the revs enter the red zone, performance is enhanced for a while. Do it too much or for too long, and you'll burn out. In our work, there are 2 sets of red zones. Athletes know that the last 5% of their effort accounts for 100% of their success. The same is true for pianists and any endeavor where we are sorted by elite performance. Okay, the last 5% is the most important. But many people work in industries where the last 5% of their effort might account for only 5% of their success. A stockbroker who stays busy cold calling clients late into the night doesn't receive increasing rewards. He just gets a little busier. The problems with the linear reward curve is obvious. People who are driven to get just a little more repeatedly, do just a little more until they've broken everything that they said they wanted. If you're going into the red zone, be clear about what the outcome is supposed to be. Okay, that one's worth contemplating. As always, Seth Godin is very, very good. Very, very good. Okay, next. What up? Next. Peloton has done great things for you. Correct. Peloton has done great things for me. Gift from my daughter and son-in-law, my daughter Roxanne and son-in-law Zach. 770 something days streak. Haven't missed a day on the Peloton in 770 days. Now, a couple of times it's only been 5 or 10 minutes, but I did it. And I do the Goggin thing. Don't think about it, just do it, because I can talk myself out of it. Let's talk for the last 4 minutes about addiction, because everything we think about addiction is probably wrong. If I say to you, how many times do you have to smoke meth before you become addicted? Or how many times you have to use heroin or LSD before you become addicted? You don't understand addiction. Okay, there are no chemical hooks. It's not about chemical hooks. It's about we are constructed to do things to make us feel good. We have this system, the limbic, not the limerick system, the limbic system, where we release, I don't think it's the limbic system, but I'll call it the limbic system. Okay, where we have neurotransmitters, chemicals released in our body that make us feel a certain way. And when we do this, that gets released. And the release of the chemicals conditions us unconsciously to do things. So we do things that make us feel better. We avoid things that make us feel not better. And certain chemicals that we have affect us in different ways and more than others. We will learn next week. We will learn next week on Wednesday about these neurotransmitters, neurohormones, these chemicals that make us feel a certain way. And because we feel a certain way when we do things, we tend to do the thing more. That's why you'll see people brainlessly sitting in front of slot machines here in Pahrump, Kentucky, just dead-eyed, pushing the button. No yay, no emotion. They just get a little drip, drip, drip. Because what? Why are they doing that? Are they addicted? Probably. Why? Because that's the thing that makes them feel good. And there's a common theme: isolation. Isolation. They're doing it alone. They're in a room full of people, but they're not talking to anybody. They're in their head. They're thinking whatever they're thinking, pushing the buttons. The things going on the screen releases a little bit of a neurotransmitter, dopamine, that makes them keep going, dollar after dollar after dollar. And so a little fraction of that dollar could go to help the hungry, the thirsty, the naked, the unhoused, the sick, the people in prison. A little bit of that could, but they're not thinking about because of addiction. What is addiction? An addiction is unconscious behavior, and usually it has a negative connotation to it. If it's a positive side, we call it discipline. He's disciplined. He gets out there and he does it. Well, you know, from people who are runners, if they don't go running every day, they don't feel good. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. People who are writers, right? If we like it, we call, man, he's disciplined. That's discipline. That's really discipline. If we don't like it, it's addiction. You're addicted. It's unconscious behavior. What does that mean? Well, we've created a routine, and we've done it enough so that consciously we could be thinking about A, but our body is doing B. We're doing something different. Gambling, drugs, sex, pornography, work. Anything that we do to excess that is negative, we call an addiction. It's unconscious behavior. You want to quit smoking, but you have a pack of cigarettes near you. Your unconscious brain is going to want the cigarette, and all of a sudden, you're smoking. Interesting thing. When people go to jail, smokers go to jail, very, very rare that somebody has nicotine fits, cravings. I need a cigarette. Doesn't happen. Why? Because your brain knows can't smoke. No cigarettes here. Not going to go there. Not going to compel you to get a cigarette, get nicotine to make you feel good, because it ain't going to happen. However, and to help prove this point, when people get released and they get their bag of property, and in the bottom is a stale pack of cigarettes. Now, before getting the bag, when they're getting released, it's good. I quit smoking. That's a nasty habit. I feel better. I don't like that thing of always feeling I have to smoke, it controlling me. I'm not going to smoke again. And then they get the bag, they're going through their property. There's a pack of cigarettes there. And whoosh. Whoop. There goes that resolve. I've seen woman, young lady, just get out of jail, walking down the street. The first sidewalk, crosswalk she comes to, I'm walking the other direction from her. She looks down and there's a cigarette butt on the street, and she picks it up. That's how strong it is. What is the antidote? Well, sobriety is not the antidote. Not doing it isn't the antidote. Connection to other people. Stop the isolation. And that was shown through studies. The famous one is called Rat Park. Rat Park. And we don't have time to talk about it. We don't have time to get into it today, but addiction is just habits. Habits that are not good. And one of the core features of them, it's things that we do when we are alone. We isolate. We're not with other people. Now, sometimes, like in a trap house, we are individually in a place and we are lost in our addiction. not good. Okay, so with that, we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen. Hopefully tomorrow I will report on the incident, the coffee meeting, the sheriff's talk on homelessness, and we'll see where we go from there. The sheriff who's running for re-election. We'll go from there. See if he shows leadership or followship. Is he going to follow the mood of the people who have been primed to believe homeless bad, homeless bad, slot machines good, homeless bad, poker machines good, homeless bad? You get people who are conditioned like that, and then you repeat to them, we don't want homelessness. And the thing is, right, because homelessness bad, slot machine good, homelessness bad, brothel good, homelessness bad, guns good. And we'll say cut.